Hello and welcome back to Dark Abyss Miniatures. I'm Simon and I'm just going to talk a little bit today about the upcoming Blood Angels release. I nearly got it wrong there. And my thoughts on it, and yeah, there seems to be a lot of uproar about a lot of the new models, some of which, well, most of which I totally understand, but what can we do about it is what I kind of want to focus on. So there's several issues I believe to be a problem. Now, the main point in the community seems to be the old sanguinary guard have been replaced by very, very different models. They now got these huge these huge Primaris jump packs with the little flight stabilizers on them, and the wings are gone. There doesn't seem to be any banners. They're now in units of 3 to 6, which I don't understand that at all. The chest armor no longer looks like chest armor. It kind of looks weird. And there's only 3 different poses as well. So the minute you want more than 3, you end up with models that start looking like each other as well. So that's my take on it. And I've done a bit of looking around and a bit of researching, and I think that I could make some really good sanguinary guards. So if that is something that you'd like to see, then I'll give it a go somewhere down the line. It won't be immediately because money is required to do the conversion I want to do. It's an expensive conversion because you're essentially going to have to go and buy another kit. And at the moment, you can't buy the kit on its own. So you're relying on people selling it on from a box set. And it doesn't use 3D printed parts. I've got a 3D printer, but it's not set up. And not only is it not set up, but not everyone has access to a 3D printer. So I want to show what can be done to try and fix them. Second issue is the sanguinor. Now, I saw a lot of people saying how good it is. I actually think that model is really, really bad. The parchment that's holding the model like as if he's levitating, because he's not flying, he looks more like he's levitating, yet he's got wings. That's another thing. The aesthetic doesn't fit the rest of the army. You've got astorath with wings, the sanguinor with wings, and then no wings on the sanguinary guard. It's all a bit weird. But the parchment is really thick. Like, who has parchment that thick? Which is what the equivalent of it is if you scale it down in model terms. It looks really bad. Now, sure, I imagine that there was problems trying to cast it so it's thinner or whatever and make it look a bit more realistic, but this is an issue with digital sculpting where someone has literally got one piece of parchment, copied it 3 more times and put it around the model, and it looks really bad. It's so bad. Um, there's some fixes for that I have ideas on. That would only mean buying the one model, so I think I'll probably look at doing that first because I want to start a Blood Angels army. I've got a load of Marines from the Leviathan set that I've not yet painted because I've been trying to decide for the last year what chapter to go with. But the boys in red are my option now, so I've got an idea for that, and I think just shaving down the parchment or sanding it down with a Dremel or something, making it ultra thin and without it breaking, and seeing if the 4 should be enough to hold the weight of the model. And I don't care if it's flopping about or whatever, like as long as it don't break. But I think that would help it. But what I also don't like is they all look exactly the same. So I'm actually thinking there's got to be a way of modeling some that can hold the model up, and maybe only a couple of parchments holding them up, because having 4 dotted around the base just doesn't look right. It looks so digital, it is unreal. And then another issue that some YouTubers have actually picked up on is that new army box that's coming out is just generic Marines with a few Death Company shoulder pads and stuff thrown in. Like, you're missing the torsos, the details on the legs from the old Death Company. Nothing can really be done about that without Games Workshop releasing a new kit. And with the amount of Blood Angels players there are, and the amount of people who just go out and buy it anyway, I don't see why they couldn't have done a new set of new set of Death Company. And they could have chucked in a jetpack set on its own, which all Marine players could benefit from. And then if they want jump pack Death Company, just chuck them on the back of that. On their normal assault intercessors. I don't understand why they've gone down this route lately of everything being generic and then having all these upgrade kits. They think that they're making more money by doing that, but in cases, people like me just won't buy it. I don't want to be buying 2 boxes and have to and use a load of upgrade parts to make my models look half different from regular Marines. The old Blood Angels Death Company were amazing because they were so different, just like the Wolf Guard and like the Thunder Wolf Cavalry. Anything Space Wolf looks so different. The Black Templars look so different. The Dark Angels, loads of their special models look so different. But besides the Sanguinary Guard, the Blood Angels have nothing that stands out or makes their normal units stand out, and this is what I think lets them down a lot, unfortunately. Strangely, I really like the lemartes model, other than his pose. I don't think his pose is that great. He's got the exact same pose as that Orruk mega boss from Age of Sigmar. And I understand there's only so many natural poses you can do, but it's a really awkward pose. And like with both the arms out and your legs shoulder width apart, it's almost like someone's getting ready to deadlift to me. I find it a really weird pose, but I do like the model. But the astorath is a really nice model. I love the astorath. The sanguinor model, though, if my idea doesn't work with it, I don't know how I could make that model look any better. The only way round it, I think, would be chop off the legs and use some Age of Sigmar legs from the Stormcast Eternals and putting him on a flight stand or something and getting rid of all the parchment. But there are things that can be done, but it just makes me wonder, what is the state of 40k now? Now, when I saw like the Warhammer community pictures for the combat patrol for Blood Angels, I was like, oh, wicked! I might get that. But it's 6 sanguinary guards, and then I found out they're like 3 to 6, and then you get like generic guys in it or whatever. I'm just not that interested in it. And playing 40k has become quite difficult for me because it's got so competitive that it's nigh on impossible to find someone to have like a fun or narrative game with now, because everyone is so fixated on winning, and people are going to comment, oh, nothing's stopping you having a narrative game, find better people to have games with. That's easier said than done. When your local gaming club, you say, I just want a casual game, and you go down there and then you get smashed to bits because someone is so clued up on the game and they're playing to the objectives and they've brought their toughest army they can bring. It doesn't feel good. It really doesn't. And it's times like this where I miss being younger. When I was 11, 12, 13, and I was playing third, fourth, an early 5th edition 40k later down the line. We never like brought the best things to bring. We bought the models that we enjoyed collecting and painting, and sometimes I'd absolutely batter my friend, and sometimes he'd absolutely batter me with his army, with his Eldar that he had, and I'd win with my Catachans that I had back then. And we had another friend who had an ultramarine army, and yeah, we used to have three-way games, all sorts. It was loads of fun. And then on a slightly different subject, I was reading some comments on a mini wargaming video, which I'll link it if I can here. Matthew from Mini Wargaming talking about the future of their Vault channel, and he was talking about narrative campaigns, and reading the comments, loads of people enjoy watching them. So what I don't understand is, why has Games Workshop completely gotten rid of that? They don't really have much going besides match play games now, and I just don't understand it. I really don't. All of their stuff they bring out in White Dwarf is always based on match play. Why can't they bring out narrative stuff or do a piece on a narrative campaign? They talk about their narrative campaigns at the back of their magazine, but don't really go into any depth. Their Tale of Four Warlords thing is not tailored towards a campaign, it's towards trying to get you to buy stuff and then them all having a big game at the end. And yeah, that can be fun. That's cool. It's a good way of like collecting an army, but I don't know. And then everywhere I read, people are saying that Combat Patrol is shit, and that's the only sort of future for myself that I saw playing 40k. I tried playing Kill Team. I loved the last edition, and then this latest one with the triangle, circle, and square to measure with and all that. I don't like that game at all. I much preferred the older version of Kill Team. And yeah, I was never great at either version of it, but the old version, I think a lot of the factions were more balanced, and I don't know. I just enjoyed it more. I really did. I just enjoyed it more. It didn't seem so convoluted as this last one does. Now they're bringing out a new one that's supposedly going to be good with solo and co-op play. Like co-op play is cool because that could be a way that I could get my girlfriend into it or something. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing with their games lately. I wanted to try Necromunda, but I'm afraid of starting that because what if they completely ruin that? Age of Sigmar seems the best way to go to me at the moment. Like with Games of Spearhead, I don't enjoy the bigger games that Games Workshop bring out anymore, like the full blown Age of Sigmar and the full blown 40k, because they're so focused on tournament play, and then that by doing that, the rules make it almost impossible for you to enjoy a game if you literally just buy the models you want because you like them. Because if you buy the models you like and enjoy, you're definitely going to come across people who have only bought the units that work really well in the game, and you're going to get smashed, absolutely smashed. So I really don't know where to go from here when it comes to playing games. I haven't played since ninth edition now, and I didn't enjoy that either. It's too much like it just becomes a giant Death Star where you're trying to keep everything near your heroes and stuff like that. And 10th seems even more tournament focused. So, and ninth was really tournament focused. So, I don't want to play it. And that leaves very few games that are like army size to play, really, that are out there. You've got your Bolt Action, which is a brilliant game, but I sold my British Army a couple of years ago, and that's something that I will be looking to get back into because that's a really enjoyable game. I just need to find out if there are people that live around here that play it. Besides that, I don't know of any games. I don't know of any like war size games. And the fact is that I really like the Games Workshop models. A lot of the older 40k models and all of the Age of Sigmar stuff's awesome. The newer 40k stuff that's coming out lately is really bad. But I, I still want to be in that world and enjoy that sort of environment. But it's just becoming so hard. And maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe there is a load of casual gamers out there who just play for fun, but to me, I just don't seem to find that, and I don't know where that leaves me because I enjoy painting. Painting's my thing, but I ultimately paint to hope to see my models on the table, and that just doesn't happen. Never happens anymore. And it's not even because I don't have the time or anything like that. I could find the time, but when you've got a game coming up in a week's time or 2 weeks' time and you need to finish up your army, you put in the time and effort to paint those models and get them done so that you can go for your game. But when you don't enjoy the game anymore, you don't even look for games, and then what happens is you never finish your army, and you find yourself getting sidetracked all the time painting other things. So that's where I'm at, and there seems to be a lot of noise around Infinity at the moment because there's a big push for their new game that's coming out soon. They're on the version 5 now. Um, I had a few games of Malifaux a few years ago and I enjoyed that, so I might look at getting back into Malifaux a bit. But besides that, I really don't know what to do. Like, where do I go for like an army-sized game? Kings of War doesn't interest me. Maybe the Horus Heresy, but I'd miss all the Xenos races. I'd miss being able to fight against orcs. I wouldn't be able to use my Tyranids, for instance. So I don't know what to do. I really don't. It's one of them. It's a massive struggle, and I've gone completely off on a tangent on Blood Angels, but I guess I'm gonna call this the Blood Angels dilemma and the state of 40k or something like that. I I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, someone can offer a good suggestion. Besides something silly like find new friends or something like that. Um, I do have a friend or two that play 40k and would probably have a casual game with me if I asked them, but I know that they've tailored their armies around being able to play well. So I'm just gonna get smashed. Like, I don't take the game seriously enough. I think to be good at 40k, you need to spend a load of time on it, and I just want to go and have some fun. And if I lose, I lose. But I'd like the game to be close, or like if I get smashed, at least it's because I made some really bad decisions, and a week later I don't make the same decisions because it's really obvious. Like when I lose games really badly, I'll sit there afterwards and go, I don't even know what I did wrong. You know, um, yeah. So drop your comments, drop your thoughts in. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about these new Blood Angels models that are coming out because I'm not impressed with them at all. I don't know what is happening at Games Workshop, but Age of Sigmar seems to be getting all of the awesome new models and new releases, and 40k is just going down the swanny, in my opinion. I really don't know what's going on with it, and it's just getting silly. It's getting silly. So, yeah, like, subscribe, keep an eye out for my next video. I'm going to be releasing a video in a couple of days' time. It's going to be about painting an army, funny enough, and my thoughts on that. And then funny enough, I've got two Blood Angels videos coming out next week, painting videos. So they're a bit different than what's out there at the minute. Blood Angels and pretty much every other first founding chapter has been done to death on YouTube. So I've tried to come up with something new, and I didn't actually have to think about it too much. All I had to think was, how do I want my Blood Angels to look? And I've actually come up with a really cool way to paint mine, and I think they're going to look really good when they're done, and it's going to be very different from what is out there, really. I hope. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you on the next one.